All right, we all agree that we want to make the office space a nicer place for everybody, aesthetically.
Okay.
So we're going to use the machines that we manufacture here to manufacture some cool projects to make everything look a little bit cooler for us, right? Kind of like Han and the pterodactyl that we've already done.
So what space do we use regularly that could use a little sprucing up? And what kind of project are we gonna do that utilizes, you know, the tools we have at our disposal, the machines, is creative and is technically challenging?
I want to do an inlay project, like a big inlay project.
Yes.
So the first thing we got to do is come up with a design. I've got some, ideas in mind. I want to create something that is technically challenging. I want to do something that looks good for the office, obviously. Yep. And as usual, I want to do something that, satisfies my artsy itch.
So I grabbed my iPad and I started sketching away. I had all kinds of ideas and a whole bunch of design questions too. Should we be carving a painted door, or should we be using different types of woods to get the contrast that we're looking for? I think we might have to design before we can figure that one out. Are we gonna build a new door from scratch, or are we gonna try and find a recycled door to use in this one's place?
My initial idea for this is that we're gonna buy a recycled solid wood door, but I'm not sure I'm gonna find one that's gonna fit because of all the door details and stuff that you have to go through. So again, I'll think about that one and I'll figure it out.
I came back to the team to decide which design we all liked the most. We all agreed on the design, but how I was going to build it, especially the door itself, was still eluding me to this point. So rather than waste time, I started to design in VCarve Pro. As expected, some design choices came up, like changing the artwork and the logo because round bits can't cut inside corners. For some reason, at this point, I really started to get stuck. VCarve inlays, how to build the door, should I build a new door at all? I got seriously stuck. Too many ideas, not enough brains.
Can we pause the video here for a second? Have you ever had a project where you thought you had a solid game plan going in, only to find out it got, train off the rails? That's been this project for us. It started off as an inlay project, and now it's some sort of funky art project with inlays, sprinkled in there. It's just a gentle reminder that sometimes things go exactly as you plan, sometimes you gotta pivot. Pivot! So another pivot was when I realized I had to go from using VCarve to Aspire. Long story short, in order to add some of this funness to these hexes, I need to use Aspire because it's got some modeling tools that VCarve doesn't have. Part of the reason it's more expensive. So we're gonna add some depth, some dimension, some texture, and we're gonna make these hexagons really pop. I'm also going to mess around with the Sienci logo. I'm gonna inlay that in one of the hexagons. It's gonna look super cool. We're done with this part of the saga. It's time for me to go do some testing. Go time. That's what we're doing right now. That's how this whole morning went sideways. Stop. They're octagons, but it's close enough. But not close enough. This is not horseshoes, nor is it hand grenades. Yeah. Even though they're just straight bit inlays, I still want the inlay to fit in the pocket as tight and as nice as possible. So I am doing my testing on the offset in. So this is going to be the shape that is getting cut out of the great big inlay that we're going to inlay, ironically enough. I'm calling it the hex grid. These are the shapes that are going to fit inside. I want to make sure that this is as tight and as nice as possible. So I've done a couple different sizes, and now we're going to test. I said this was the one, so you get to watch me fail on camera. One, we are testing in junky MDF because it's fairly cheap, it carves nice, so it's pretty accurate. I wanted to make sure that these fits are good so that I'm not experimenting on expensive stuff. So I just need to make sure that that fit was tight. The fit is tight. Victory! We're here, we've got the bits laid out. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. First things first, 1/8 inch down cut. We're gonna use this for fine details and getting those corner radiuses the way I need them. 1/8 inch carbide drill bit. I'm gonna use this basically to give myself some guides as to where I can put my screws and my board so I don't run into them during my tool paths. 1/4 inch down cut, another thing for clearing out some pockets and getting things sharp the way I need them. 1/4 inch compression bit. We're gonna use this to cut through the MDF. It cuts like butter, nice and quick, evacuates the chips, I love it. 3/8 ball nose. We're gonna use this for all of the little pockets and all the little details that we're doing on those crazy looking hexagons. 3/8 compression, using this to cut out the hexagons so that it's fast and super quick and we don't have to waste a lot of time. 1/2 inch bowl bit. We're using this for the texture and at the same time, 1 inch bowl bit, both for texture on the hexagons. Imagine doing tool changes with this. I'm thrilled that I get to use the ATC. I used to design around not using bits and not having to do as many bit changes because it took time. Now I don't even think about it. I design for every single bit that I need, throw them in there, carve away, woo! Go time. So here's a fun little tip. I toyed with using a compression and I should have used a compression bit for this. A down cut is gonna pack those chips down into your channel or your tool path when it's carving. If you use a compression bit, it'll give you a nice top clean and bottom, but it'll also help evacuate all that sawdust and that wood chip. You can see how it obviously cut, but you can see how much material is packed into that spot. That's because I didn't use a compression bit. So I'll change it in my file, and that's why you'd use a compression bit versus a down cut. You don't usually see it load like that because the file's not usually that big. We have the honeycomb carved out and I primed it because I got bored. We have all of the inlays in the MDF cut out. Textures look great, shapes look cool. I'm actually pretty thrilled with how they look. Next, I have to move on to the actual wooden inlays that are going to be on the door. One of them is going to be the Sienci logo. So I'm going to stop yapping and get to carving some real wood. Alrighty, we're chugging through, we're carving stuff. Everything's going carving-wise according to plan. Trying to run 2 machines simultaneously can be a little tricky. We've got most of the maple done. We're gonna start on the cherry next, and then I have to make sure that this inlay fits in there nicely. It's pretty close, but I am gonna need to do a little bit of hand sanding just to make sure it's tight, tight, tight. Paint it, glue it in there, then we got a surface. We're making progress. I got this domed, and this is also domed, which I should have done in the first place, right? So this piece has a dome to it. This actually has a dome to it, right? Skinnier, fatter, and it fits in there like a glove. It's lovely. So I'm gonna have to prime and paint that tomorrow. We'll inlay it and glue it. We'll cut off all the nubs, and then we're gonna keep on chugging.
Pretty cool. Like, how did you generate that?
Alrighty, we have all of the hexes and the hex pieces carved. The wood ones, the plywood ones, sorry, the MDF ones, not plywood. I got some of them primed today. Some of them still need to be painted. We got the Sienci inlay carved and primed. So there's a whole bunch more sanding, a little bit more painting. I'm gonna bring it back to my shop, and the next time you see me, we are going to be ready to assemble the door. Sanded, primed, painted, not stained, waxed, furniture wax on those guys. Everything is good to go. The next time you see me, I'm gonna haul all these back to the workshop. We're gonna install the door and see what this thing looks like put together. Wow. I fit all of these lovely plywood pieces, which there was, when I painted them, the way the roller goes, there was some bleed over the edges, which meant they weren't going to fit because my tolerances weren't tolerant enough. Apparently I haven't learned my lesson about tolerances and giving myself a little bit more, room to play. So I had to sand each one of them down just a little bit. Now they all fit. I may have forgotten to paint one. He's over there. We're going to get to him. And then, yeah, tomorrow's the install day where we PL this thing and drop a couple nails in there, PL little hexagons in, and we'll have a really fancy looking boardroom going. So what do you think? I'm pretty thrilled. There were some bumps in the road. I'm really glad that we added the texture and we changed the shapes and the depth. For me, it was something we debated when we were designing it, and I'm really glad we did. I think it makes it pop, and when you hit it in a certain light, it makes it pop. It looks really, really cool. So I'm glad that we did that. Which leads into point 2. This is one of the reasons why we do these projects, is I want people to realize and think about how would you do all of this without a CNC? How would you add the texture? How would you replicate these? You could do it. Zero argument. That's one of the reasons why we do these projects, is to inspire you guys to realize that your CNC is like your shop ally, and they're gonna help you make all these cool things with a lot less work. A couple of points for this project. First one, I think people overlook pretty regularly in this social media perfect woodworking world that things don't always go as planned. It's how you adjust, it's how you pivot, that shows your real skills as a woodworker and a maker. And as the saying goes, every maker makes mistakes, the good makers know how to hide them. Which leads to my second point. Planning is great, but overthinking, not so much. Don't let fear stop you from starting. If you do, you're never gonna make anything. There's no fun in that. So plan as best you can. When things go sideways, and they will, hit the pause button, take a breath. Scream if you need to, and then figure out how you're going to make it work. It's still pretty epic. Hopefully it has inspired you guys to go and make something for yourself, even if there are some bumps along your journey. They're bound to happen. Don't forget, we'll have a link to the free project files in the description down below. So you can download them to cut out your own hex-inspired door if you want to, or you can check out the specifics on how we created our project. There's a lot to be learned from dissecting someone else's files. Till the next one, we'll see you around CNC.